Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are going to talk about living authentically. What does it really mean to live authentically, and why is it so important for our well-being and our sense of purpose? We're also going to talk about what authenticity really looks like and the challenges that a lot of people face when trying to be true to themselves, and how we can take the steps towards living a more authentic life every single day. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Flora Sage, certified simplification coach and 7-time author. And for over 27 years, I've been helping women like you align into a life or a business that you are wildly obsessed with by helping you clear out the 9 types of clutter keeping you from a life that you love. What are those 9 types of clutter? They are mental, spiritual, emotional, digital, financial, daily, body, process, and environmental clutter. My YouTube page is where I share my environmental decluttering tips, and here on the podcast, I share with you how to declutter the rest. So please subscribe or follow this feed so you get notified every single time an episode is released. So living authentically, what does that mean? Well, typically living authentically means being true to who you are at your core. It's about embracing your values, your desires, your beliefs, and you're also living in alignment with them. Those of you who have been following me for a long time, you know that my coaching program, both for business and for personal, is called Align. It helps you go from where you are to where you want to be. It helps you align that by clearing out that messy middle. Now, we often get caught up in expectations, whether from society or our families or even ourselves, and we lose sight of what we want. That's that clutter that gets in the way. And I want you to think about it. How often do you make decisions based on what you think will make other people happy? How often do you compromise your own joy or peace of mind to fit in, or to avoid judgment, or to just keep the peace? Living authentically, I think, is really about breaking free from all of those actions and really owning who you are, even when it's hard and even when it's uncomfortable. But authenticity, I believe, doesn't mean living without caring for others or acting impulsively. It's not about disregarding the consequences of your actions. Instead, I think it's about being aware of those things that you are choosing to live in a certain way that feels genuine for you. Like you're really being aware of and choosing those things. One of the questions that I've been asked multiple times over the years is, Flora, why is it so hard to live authentically? And I mean, if you think about it, if living authentically is so important, why do so many people struggle with it? I've done some research, and there's actually many key reasons that why it's so hard to live authentically. And the first one is cultural and society norms. I mean, really, and it's the pressure from society. From a young age, we're conditioned to abide by social norms. We're taught what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. I actually talked about this in my pedigree podcast episode. I'm actually going to link that down below. But your pedigree really impacts those cultural and societal and familial pressures that you get all around you every single day of, what to wear, how you should behave, what career you should have, what career you should even pursue, not necessarily have, because some people just kind of fall into positions and careers, and some people actually pursue them. And the pressure of all of this from your culture, from the society that you're from or live in, from your family, all of that can be so suffocating at times. And over time, they can lead you to make decisions that are not authentic to you, that are inauthentic. Another reason why this happens is for fear of rejection. And this is a huge one, a huge one. And when you want to live authentically, but hesitate to do so, truly it's because you're fearing getting ostracized or rejected from your peer group or from your family. And truth be told, we all want to be loved. We all want to be accepted. And so that means hiding parts of yourself that you think others might not approve of. So, maybe there's a passion that you have that you've kept secret, and you believe that if you let it out, cat's out of the bag, that you might be rejected or you might not be seen in the same light as you already are. And another fear that people have is perfectionism and being compared to whomever. We live in a world where comparison is constant, especially with social media. And, social media shows people at their best, that the highlight version of everyone's life. And it really does a number on us. It kind of makes us feel inadequate. And we start thinking that in order to be worthy or to be successful, we have to look or act a certain way. And this mindset really creates a barrier between who you are and who you want to be. And again, this is part of that messy middle that we're clearing out here on the podcast and on my YouTube channel. So another big thing that keeps people from living authentically is self-doubt. And many people question, is being myself good enough? Is being myself good enough for society? Is it good enough for myself? And because, again, we want to be accepted. We want to be part of the clan. And back in the day, if you were like this outlier, you would be rejected from your tribe. And being on your own meant certain death. Okay? And so this is literally wired in our DNA to conform into what we think our society or our group wants us or needs us to be. So we play small by holding back on our passions, on our dreams, on our ideas, and we keep ourselves stuck where we're at. Now, here's the truth. Living authentically is not about being perfect. It truly is about embracing who you are, flaws and all, because everybody has them, and showing up in the world as the person who you truly are, regardless of these external expectations. And I think this is one of the reasons why TikTok is so popular, is because everybody is showing their weirdness. Everybody's weird. Everybody is awesome. Everybody is unique in their own way. And that's what makes everybody just gravitate towards that platform. And it's like, it's so real and raw. And then you see somebody doing something, and you're like, oh my God, I've done that too. Or yes, I love this. Or you see conversations or you hear jokes, and you realize we truly are one big family with just varying degrees of cultural background, varying degrees of religious background, just varying degrees of everything. And it makes you realize that, wait a minute, maybe me being authentic is really what it's all about and really where it's at. And I was actually talking with one of my clients about it the other day, is we are living in an age of authenticity. The more authentic you are, people feel it and they want to be around that. The age of celebrity where everything is this polished, picture perfect, whatever, people don't want that because they know it's fake. They know it's not real. Okay. And so the question again is, how can we start living more authentically? Well, I've created a few steps to help you out. The first thing is get to know yourself. I know this sounds really simple, but a lot of people have not really taken the time to ask, well, who am I? Like, what do I value? What brings me joy? And I've talked about this many, many times here on the platform. Like, what do you want? Like, who are you? And without labels. And really start asking yourself these questions and really be honest with yourself. And you might surprise yourself with what the answers are, okay? The second thing is identify where you are compromising in your life. This is a big one, okay? Take a look at your life, take stock, and ask yourself, where are you making choices from? Are you making choices from external expectations or from your own internal desires? Now, maybe it's in your career, maybe it's in your relationship, or even how you spend your free time. Where are you compromising and why? These are some tough questions, but I guarantee you already have the answers. You just have to give yourself permission to be honest and open with yourself about them. Another thing, and I talk about this in my book, practice saying no. Practice saying no. Living authentically means setting boundaries, and not just setting them, but actually following through with the boundaries. So often that means saying no to activities, to requests, to relationships that do not align with your values or your true self. Sometimes it's not easy to say no, but it's necessary, okay? It's not easy to say no, but it's necessary. There's a fabulous quote by Courtney Carver, and she says, "I don't say no because I'm busy. I say no because I don't want to be busy." And sometimes when someone asks you to do something that you know is not authentic to you, that you know is not aligned with who you are or who you want to be, just say no. That's it. No, thanks for the invite, but I'll pass. And you don't have to give a reason. You do not have to give a reason, okay? The next thing, and I have several podcasts about this, is surround yourself with people who support you, okay? It is so much easier to live your authentic self when you surround yourself with people who love and accept yourself for who you are. That's it. Seek out relationships where you feel seen and heard and valued, okay? Valued. This is a big one. When was the last time you felt valued in a relationship? When was the last time you felt seen and heard without judgment, without that expectation, where someone just welcomed you with open arms and all your weirdness? That's one of the things that my boys' partners have said multiple times is, "I can't believe the relationship you have with your mom." And they said, "It's so weird." And they're like, "Why is it weird?" And both of them, they said, "Well, you're just so open, like you talk about everything." And it's like, I don't get it. And I didn't grow up with having parents that allowed me to be me. And that was one of the things that with my kids, come hell or high water, I'm like, they are their own person. They're their own being. They are who they are. I am who I am. I'm going to allow them to be who they are and hold that sacred space for them. And they know that they can talk with me about anything. And if they don't feel like talking, they could say, I don't want to talk about this. And I'm like, all right, cool. No pressure. You know, I play devil's advocate. We talk back and forth. And like I said, they're like my, youngest son's girlfriend and my oldest son's fiance, both of them were like, this is why, how, what? This is just because it's unconditional. It truly is. You have your opinion and I'm okay with that. And if I'm triggered, that means I have work to do. And if they're triggered, that means they have work to do. And we literally talk so openly about literally everything. And when they, recently finally met, all, like the girlfriend / fiance were like, "Oh my God, this is just crazy." And they didn't really know how to take it, but it's really, there is no ulterior motive. It's we are who we are. And we hold space for each other. And it's okay to have differing opinions. It's okay to have differing beliefs. And we love you nonetheless. And they truly feel safe to be themselves. They feel seen. They feel heard. They feel valued. They feel validated. And that's something that I think the more of us who do this as we're raising our babies, as we're, having relationships with our adult children, I think the more of us who value authenticity and hopefully bring it out in ourselves as well as them, this is going to be a ripple effect on the planet. Because like I said, we are truly entering into an age of authenticity, and the more authentic you can be, the more people feel it. Which brings me to the next thing is on how you can be more authentic is embrace vulnerability. Living authentically requires vulnerability. It's about showing up as your true self, even if it's uncomfortable. Now, this might mean having difficult conversations or being open about your dreams and desires, your fears, all the things. But it's through this vulnerability that we build deeper connections and find true freedom. And again, this is one of the things that my kids' partners, they're just like mind blown at. No matter what we talk about, at the end of the day, we all still love each other the same, if not more, because we can share everything, like everything. There's nothing off the table. There's like everything is open and fair game for conversation and to dig deeper. And it's truly a way to find full freedom in relationships. So what happens when you make the decision to finally live more authentically? I'm going to share some benefits with you, okay? So the first benefit is increased self-confidence. When you live authentically, you will start to feel more confident in your decisions because they come from a place of truth for you. You are not constantly second guessing or seeking validation from others. You know what is true for you. And because of that, you just hold yourself with more confidence. The second thing is you have deeper connections all around, all around. Authenticity breeds real, meaningful relationships. Hands down. Hands down. When you show up as yourself, you attract people that resonate with your true self. Again, leading to deeper, more fulfilling connections. And again, this is one of the things that my kids' partners were like, whoa. Like, anyway, we've had so many deep conversations. And like, holy shit, I could never have a conversation with my mom about this. This is crazy, and they feel safe to do so. Another benefit is greater fulfillment and joy. When you live in alignment with your values, that leads massively to a greater sense of purpose and a greater sense of joy in your life. And you're no longer chasing goals that don't feel right for you, or that drain your energy, or that just feel like you're doing them to make everybody else happy. You're truly doing something because you want to do it. You're pursuing a career because that's what feels good for you. You're pursuing a hobby because it's what lights you up. Like many, many years ago, one of my sisters mentioned to me that she was painting. And she's like, you know what? I suck at painting, but I don't care. I have fun when I'm doing it. And it brings me so much joy to paint. And I love it. It's awesome. And I'm like, I love this so much, because how often have you tried to paint, whether to paint by number or one of those paint and sip things, and you're like, oh my God, I suck. This sucks. I'm not good. This person's better than me yet. And we're constantly judging. And what if you just got rid of that and be just like, I'm going to paint just for the joy of painting, because that's it. Because it just brings me joy. I just like putting wet paint, wet pigment, or I guess dry pigment, depending on what you're using, what medium you're using. But I'm just going to put this on the canvas just because it makes me feel good. It's fun. Why not? It brings out your inner child. What would happen if you did that? And that's one of the things with living more authentically. That's one of the side effects. Another side effect or another benefit is less stress and less anxiety. When you're not constantly trying to be someone you're not, life becomes a lot less stressful, and you feel more at ease with who you are, who you hang out with, your conversations that you have with them, and you have so much more peace of mind. And that, my friends, is totally invaluable. It's so incredibly amazing when you do this. Living authentically really isn't about, it's not about the destination. It really is about the journey of getting to know yourself, getting to know who you are, getting to know your likes, your dislikes, what resonates with you, what doesn't resonate with you, what it really puts you in alignment with that version of you that just feels so good, that you really can feel fully relaxed. It's about making daily choices that reflect who you are, even in the face of external pressure, okay? We're coming into the holidays. There's a lot of family expectations. There's a lot of society expectations. You can pull yourself out of that. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast right now, is because we're getting ready to go into that holiday situation. You can choose a better way. You can choose to pull yourself out and allow yourself to do that little self-check. What do I want this holiday to look like for me? What are my expectations for the holidays? What feels good for me? What feels good for my family? And like your immediate family, like your person and your little ones, if you've got them, and not doing what everybody else is doing, but what feels good for you. It's not going to be easy every time, but there is going to be rewards that you will feel hands down right away. The self-confidence, the joy, the deeper, more meaningful relationships, all of this is worth it. So if you take one thing away from this episode, let it be this. You are enough and perfect just as you are. And the world needs that authentic version of you, not a watered down version molded by other people's expectations. So if you want my help with this, if you want my help before the holidays, I do have some spots open in my calendar. Click the link in the show notes, click the link in the description for a complimentary session so that I can help you sift through this whole big thing of authenticity, what it means, what it doesn't mean, and help you to find your true self. If you're ready for this, click the link in the show notes. Also, let's continue this conversation. If you're watching this on YouTube, I invite you to share your experiences with living authentically in the comments. If you're listening to this on any podcast streaming platform, email me, flora@florasage.com, and share your comments. If you found today's video helpful, please subscribe, share with your friends, and leave a review. Your support helps this podcast reach more people looking to declutter their lives and align into a life they are wildly obsessed with. I hope this serves you today, and I will see you in the next episode. Mwah!